I love the sound of that music. I love it because when it comes on, it means we got college basketball. Mike Randle, FTN here with you, college basketball betting show 3 times a week, and we have been doing fantastically well. We were hitting at like 74%, had a little give back on the last show, but then finished up a nice 4-1, buoyed by the Cal comeback. Huge comeback against Colorado at home. They were dead and buried, came back to win. Great win there. 3-0 in the bet tracker the last 2 nights. Huge slate today, guys. I'm not going to waste any time. We got a couple things to do before we start, and then we're going to get right into this because it is huge today. Huge stuff going on. First off, a little read for you guys. Very excited, guys. Look, do you miss the days of the big deposit match bonuses in daily fantasy? We just partnered here at FTN Fantasy with Better. Better has you covered. Guys, you can make a first deposit of up to $500. They're going to match it, giving you twice as much to play with. Go to the App Store, download Better, BETR app, and sign up using the promo code MONEY. I mean, can there be a better promo code than that? I don't think so. Make your first deposit and Better will double it up to $500. Each player, you listen for stats. You choose whether the player will have more or less than that number. Pick anywhere from 2 to 8 stats. You pick them correctly. The more plays you have, the more you get paid. So go to the App Store now. Try it out. Remember, download Better. That's BETR. Remember, in order to get the deposit bonus match, make sure you use that promo code MONEY, and you are ready to rock and roll. Guys, ton of games here. Get your comments in the stream. We're going to whip around, go through everything that we want to do quickly. Remember, volume and accuracy. That's weird. Here for it, FTN. We got a bunch of new viewers. Let's check it out. Here we go. Really quick. UNC minus 12.5 against Syracuse. Look, Syracuse's record looks pretty good. You go to their record, it's 12-3. I understand that, but I just don't buy it. And I've been slow to come around here on this UNC team, but I'm starting to think that they are the best of a bad conference. Syracuse is pretty much just led by Judah Mintz, who survives on volume. Their offensive numbers, Syracuse is not great. 31% from three-point range, 50% from two-point range. They're not great on defense. They do turn you over, but R.J. Davis for North Carolina is playing like a first-team All-American. He's that good. Armando Bacot, whose ceiling seems to have come down, is still solid. Harrison Ingram, Cadeau, I don't think they stumble here. Adrian Autry on the road, rookie coach, forget it. I'm taking UNC minus the points. You're going to be shocked on this one. I know you are. Guys, I know Georgia is 12-3, and you know that I've ripped on Mike White. I get that. I just think right now, if you look at the landscape in college basketball, it is very tough to win on the road. Rick Barnes has been good in these spots. It could be a spot that Tennessee covers. I get that. I just think 7.5 is too much. The one thing White can do is coach defense. So I think this is a defensive struggle. I think points are at a premium. 7.5 is way too much. I get it. To me, this will come back to bite me if Georgia really isn't as good, which is what I've thought. But Tennessee on the road, 7.5 is a lot. If it was 3, it was 4, I could probably get there. But 7.5, I am actually taking Mike White. I have not done this since the beginning of the year with Oregon with those injuries in the first game of the season. But I'm going back to it because I just cannot wrap my head around the fact that Tennessee is going to win by 8 points. I get it. Georgia is just 5-4-1 at home this year, but they have never been an underdog. I get it. I just think it's too many points, guys. And I know you are laughing. The loyal listeners here are laughing in my face. I don't think VCU can win by this many points on the road. They have been better lately, but I do have concerns about them. And you are going on the road against LaSalle, which again is a good LaSalle team that is well coached now by Fran Dunphy. Yes, they've been up and down, but they played Miami tough away. They played Fordham away. They won that game outright. The UMass game, UMass just pushed the pace a little bit too much for them. I don't like VCU. I think they're very inconsistent this year under Ryan Odom. This is not your mother's VCU team that turned you over 5 million times. Yes, they just beat George Mason away, but this is only the second game that VCU is playing away this year. All of their games have been home or neutral. Only their second true road game, magic 5.5 number, home team, conference game. Forget it. I'm taking LaSalle. I really like Wisconsin. People are down on Wisconsin. They're down on Tennessee. I think this is the year that a team like that maybe doesn't have the high potent offense that you're looking for can make a run and maybe make a Final Four and even win the national title. But Northwestern excels in these slow-paced games. They have played well against Wisconsin in the past. Wisconsin's going to slow it down. The reason Northwestern struggled at Illinois is because the pace got too high and the game got away from them. If the game doesn't get away from them with Boo Buie, I don't think Wisconsin is covering this big number, even though they're home. I am taking Northwestern plus 7.5. Towson's metrics are catastrophic. I don't like Northeastern, but you go to Ken Palm and look at Towson's metrics. Absolutely awful. 31% from three-point range, 44% from two-point range, 62%, almost the worst team in college basketball from the free throw line, and they play at a slow pace. Northeastern at home has been pretty good. I don't like them a ton, but they did beat Hofstra at home. They played Stony Brook at home and lost. They played Vermont at home and lost by 2. They've been very competitive at home. Saw them against Seton Hall. They got the nice last-second cover. Don't like Towson here on the run. I'll take Northeastern. Got burned with Seton Hall last time. I'm going back to the well. This is a parity play. I think a lot of these teams here in college basketball are very, very close to each other. I am going with Butler minus 4.5 at home. It is very tough to beat them at home. UConn did. Butler almost covered. Seton Hall's not as good as UConn. I don't trust Seton Hall's offense here. Butler under Thad Matta playing well. I expect a big game across the board from DJ Davis and Pierre Brooks, who've been able to do really well. Posh Alexander can control the tempo. I'm taking Butler minus 4.5 at home. Can someone explain to me what the heck this line is? Why do we not like Mississippi? I get that their metrics aren't fantastic, but why do we not like them? At what point are we going to come around and realize that Chris Beard is doing a hell of a job down there in Oxford, Mississippi? 14-1. Only loss away was to Tennessee, which was a big loss, but they beat Troy at home. They beat UCF away. They beat Memphis at home. They beat NC State at home. They've beaten some decent teams. And here comes a Vanderbilt team, which last I checked is not very good. 29% from three-point range, allowing almost 38% from three-point range to their opponents. Free throws are average, don't really turn you over, not great on the offensive boards. I don't get this. A lot of respect for Jerry Stackhouse for a team that has lost 6 of their last 7, and their only win, by the way, was home over Dartmouth. So I'm going to lay the points here with Mississippi. This one also going to shock you. I'm taking Louisville plus 7.5 against NC State. Louisville, I don't think NC State can win this game by this much. NC State barely escaped at Notre Dame by 2. Louisville is coming off a huge win over Miami. I don't like Louisville. I just think it's too many points here. So North Carolina State just has not been able to consistently hit shots from the outside. They haven't been able to consistently score. They're 70% barely from the free throw line. Louisville, I can't believe I'm picking Louisville, but again, we're picking Georgia, we're picking Louisville, we're turning the world on its head here, and we're continuing to roll. I'm trying to get some information. I talked to a beat reporter about this game, trying to figure out exactly if Detroit Mercy guard Jaden Stone is available. Jaden Stone has been out for several games. I don't think he's back. I'm going with Northern Kentucky, which again was the preseason favorite in the Horizon. They are 3-3. They lost tough back-to-back overtime games away to Cleveland State and Oakland. Enough is enough for Darren Horn's squad. They are not great on offense, but I think they stayed in the area. I don't think Northern Kentucky left. They played on Wednesday against Oakland. Now they're playing Detroit Mercy away. I think they need this game in the worst way. If Jaden Stone played, would I be a little bit nervous about it? Yes. But I'm going to take it because if we find out Stone is out, it could get up to 12 here. Detroit Mercy has been catastrophically bad. They are 0-17 on the year. They are 0-6 in the Horizon League under Mike Davis. They lost by 23 to Milwaukee at home. They lost to Green Bay, who plays at a slog's pace at 18. They almost lost by 40 to Purdue Fort Wayne. They've been non-competitive. Northern Kentucky has their sights set on winning the Horizon. I'm laying the points here with Northern Kentucky. I don't think Wofford should be favored here on the road against Citadel. Citadel, I believe, has lost 3 straight games in a row in the SoCon. Yep, they lost at home, and away, but they were trying to keep those games close. It was Western Kentucky, it was Samford, it was Furman. Those are 3 really good teams. Wofford is not at the same level. I think you get a maximum effort today. Wofford, terrible from the free throw line, 63%. Terrible at defending the 3, which is not good against the Citadel. Citadel here getting 1.5. Wofford favor on the road, very questionable right there. FDU stinks. I'm taking Stonehill plus 7.5. This number is dropping. I think it was at 9. Stonehill, FDU are mirror images of each other. Both teams are not good, but FDU has not been able to put anyone away. Even when they get up big and they end up coming back and allowing teams back into the game. NEC battle here. Neither team is great. I am just not saying that FDU is going to win by close to double digits over anyone. FDU is 6-11 on the year. They're 0-2 here in conference. They lost at home to Chicago State. I'm taking Stonehill plus the 7.5. What is the love of Creighton? Can somebody explain to me why everyone loves Creighton? Creighton, now that they do not have Ryan Nembhard, they don't have anyone who gets to the basket. Trey Alexander does not get to the basket. Bayer Shireman does not get to the basket. When Shireman drives to the basket, he always jump stops and he pump fakes. Watch the game, and when he drives to the basket, say pump fake, because that's what he does. Coaches are figuring this out. Rick Pitino is figuring this out. 1 week ago, I was at the Blue Bloods place, the bar for the baby shower here in my family, watching Villanova, start to finish, lost to St. John's. St. John's is a good team. You're giving me 7.5. I don't get Creighton. Soriano's going to be able to limit Kalkbrenner inside, who's the big pillow. I think Pitino will be able to defend the arc. You saw Villanova without Justin Moore going and beat Creighton. Enough of Creighton. I know their metrics are good. They pass the ball around and they wait for someone to shoot from a three from Texas. That's what they do, or from Iowa. That's their game. Kalkbrenner inside. He needs putbacks against weaker teams. Not going to happen. St. John's plus 7.5. Coulibaly's back. Coulibaly's back for UMass Lowell. That's a big-time addition here for UMass Lowell. So you're going to look at this number, and you're going to say, why would I lay all these points? You're going to lay all these points because Bilal Coulibaly just came back. And when he was with this team, this UMass Lowell team, what did they do? They pounded Dartmouth by 40 to start the year. They won a true road game away at Georgia Tech. They lost at Arizona State by 2, but should have won the game. They beat St. Peter's away. They beat Stonehill. Then they lost Coulibaly, and they started coming back to the pack. But look at what they've done the last few games. New Hampshire away, they win by 7. Coulibaly comes back. His first game back, they beat NJIT. UMBC just covered at Vermont because Vermont is slow and doesn't play as strong a defense as UMass Lowell. This is an instinct play. This is UMass Lowell is good. They're very tough at home. They got Coulibaly back, and they're ready to roll today against an inferior UMBC team that just wants to get up and down the floor and turn the ball over a million times. Indiana State at home. Indiana State at home, and Indiana State coming off actually a major loss to Drake away, which is very disappointing. They were 4-0. They beat Southern Illinois, Bradley away. They beat Evansville, Northern Iowa. So Indiana State was looking really, really strong. Then they lost away at Michigan State. Now they've lost to Drake. I think you get maximum effort. You can take that whole gift that I use. You talk about Bradley. You can talk about Indiana State. Indiana State minus 11.5 over a Belmont team is not normally where it's at right now. They're terrible defending inside the arc, which is a problem. I know they're 4-1. I think this is an Indiana State roll game, much like Bradley at home. I'm banking on UNC Asheville to keep it going here. UNC Asheville is one of the teams that we like to start the year very much. And then UNC Asheville struggled to start the year. However, look at what they've done recently, and we've ridden them during a hot streak. USC Upstate, Presbyterian, they lost away to High Point, but they did cover in that game. I think we got it at 6 or 5.5, but we did get the cover. They have won 5 of their last 7 games, and they've covered UAB away in a loss. They covered Kennesaw State at home. They covered USC Upstate. They're starting to get it back. They're starting to hit some threes. Drew Pember inside, looking very good. Longwood is a very good team. Coming in here with Griff Aldrich, they've lost 4 of their last 5. A little bit of a free fall, momentum play. Liked UNC Asheville all year. Like them now, laying the points. Do with this one as you want. I don't like Sacred Heart. I think LAU stinks. I think LAU is terrible. I think Sacred Heart wears them down. It's 8 points. It's a lot. It's not one of my favorite plays, but I am betting it. I do like Sacred Heart today. 5 in, 5 out for Sacred Heart. It is what it is. They just lost away at Merrimack by a ton, but LIU is just awful. You look at LIU's metrics, can't make shots, turn the ball over, can't get rebounds, not good from the line, not good. The one thing they can defend the threes, but Sacred Heart doesn't rely on the threes. They're going to get a lot of transition baskets. I think they win by double digits. Don't like Davidson here at all. I'll take G-Dub minus 1.5 at home, getting back on it. Davidson has struggled here. They've been good in certain matchups, but then Davidson now in the A10, and it's a really bunched up A10, and it's a down A10, by the way. I made a bet. I talk with Stuckey in the Action Network podcast on there every Thursday. One of my favorite futures here, and I love to get what Frank Brank and our guys here at FTN think about it, was UMass plus 1,700 to win the A10 because they almost beat Dayton last week. They came back and they covered. Dayton doesn't look great. UMass can hang around. And UMass, by the way, if you look at their schedule, is favored in every single game the rest of the year except for 2 on Ken Palm. So they have a shot. Davidson has lost to Dayton at home. They lost to Rhode Island at home. Now they go on the road to GW. They're not shooting threes well. They're not defending well. And they've been really fortunate, Davidson, because teams are not making free throws against them. Chris Caputo's George Washington squad, 12-3, 1-1. They lost that horrific 3 overtime game at home to Fordham, where Fordham made 19 3-pointers. 19 3-pointers. So really, with any sort of luck, G-Dub should be 2-0 here. I think they take care of business against Davidson. It's only 1.5. I'm fine with it. Winthrop has this game circled on their calendar, lost 3 times last year to Radford. They don't like Radford. They're very angry. Radford coming off a massive game against Longwood, whereas Winthrop has been able to rest. So Radford just had a very tough game. I think it was Thursday. Pretty sure it was Thursday. Radford ends up beating Longwood away 69-58, which they needed because they lost Clemson and they lost the High Point. So they're now 1-1. But Winthrop, this is a massive game for Winthrop. They don't like Radford. They got swept by Radford last year. They're focused for this game. Haven't played since Wednesday. I think Winthrop rolls in this matchup. Porter Moser has been very good at Kansas. Boy, Kansas is at the point now where it's like the Yankees, it's like the Cowboys, it's like Duke, where everybody just gives Kansas the bump because they're home. The last few games that they have played against each other, Oklahoma has done very, very well. Let's take a look at it. Last year, they play Oklahoma. Kansas beats Oklahoma by 4 at home. Then goes on the road. They beat them badly on the road. But early in the year, that team was much better and was together. The year before, Kansas beats Oklahoma away by 3. Kansas beats Oklahoma home by 2. Porter Moser needs this game. This is an Oklahoma team that started off really strong, 10-0. They lost to North Carolina. Then they beat Central Arkansas. They beat Monmouth. They beat Iowa State at home, which was a really nice win. Then they lost it to TCU. I think they battled today. I think they keep it close. I think it's too many points. The line was 6.5 to go the other way. We're taking the points here. Bradley at home has been tremendous, and Bradley is finally healthy now. I am going to lay this. This number was 2.5 when it came out. I grabbed it right away, but I still am fine with it at 3. Bradley has now won 5 straight games, and they've gotten Connor Hickman back, which is a huge difference maker. Connor Hickman back has scored 28, 25 points, 6 of 9 from 3, 6 of 11 from 3. He only had 16 points in the last game against Evansville because you know what? They won by 36 points. Bradley looks legit. They're on the road against UIC. I get it. It's on the road. You're laying points. It's very tough this year. I don't care. I am taking Bradley minus 3.5 to get the job done, even though they are not home. IUPUI stinks. Oakland needs this win. Oakland is well coached with Greg Campy. IUPUI's metrics are terrible. Oakland has now won 4 games in a row after losing to Michigan State, Dayton, Cleveland. That was a string of losing 5 of 6. They beat Youngstown State. They beat Milwaukee. They beat Green Bay. They beat Northern Kentucky at home in overtime. That's a big, big win. This Oakland team wants to do well. They're finally healthy. IUPUI is terrible. I get it. They could win by 12. I'm willing to take the chance. We're waiting for regression here with Kentucky. That's fine. You can wait all you want. Texas A&M can struggle to score. I don't think it's coming in this game. Kentucky is good. They're national championship good. They're Final Four good. This team normally can't make threes early. That's their problem. Kentucky normally struggles. Calipari gets it right. Team's very dangerous in the tournament. This year, they're making threes at almost 40%, 8th best in the country. I know that's going to regress. I get it. My point is, are the teams they're playing, Florida, good enough to make them regress in that game? I don't know. I think Kentucky is legit. You're going to give me points with Kentucky. That's fine. They just pounded Missouri. They beat Florida. They beat North Carolina on neutral. They're good. They lost at home. I get that. And Texas A&M is going to be ready here with Buzz Williams. But Texas A&M, it's Wade Taylor or it's nothing. 26% from three-point range. Great on the offensive boards, but Kentucky's going to match them. I know it's a big spot. I'll take the points and I'll get burned. That's fine. I don't know why Notre Dame's laying 1.5 at home to Florida State. Florida State's super inconsistent this year. I'm taking the Irish plus 1.5 at home. They've played well. They competed well. They played well against Duke, and they covered. Why would they not cover or win out right here against Florida State? I think Fordham stinks. Get Fordham. You go to St. Bonaventure, you hit 19 threes again. Let's see you do that one. I don't like Fordham. I don't like Ergo. I like Mark Schmidt. I like St. Bonaventure here. Folks, if you think Clemson is going to lose 4 games in a row, and one of those games is going to be against Boston College, that's fine. I don't think so. Clemson, after starting 9-0, lost to Memphis away in a close game, 2 points. They lost to Miami away. They lost to North Carolina, lost to Virginia Tech away. They need this game. You're going to get a maximum effort. We got Boston College on the road. Quentin Post has struggled. BC has lost 2 of their last 3 to Wake Forest at home, to Syracuse. They did win away at Georgia Tech. Congratulations, but they allowed 87 points. I think Clemson pounds in this game and wins by double digits. Let's get a couple questions here before we move on. Things are flying. Let's go, Mike. Let's in the house. Preston Smith, first-time listener. Thank you, Preston. We cover so many games, Preston. I'll tell you why, because people want games covered. I'm not saying you have to bet every game. I'm not saying you have to like every pick, but I want to give you my opinion, make sure we cover all the games. Thank you so much for joining us. Josh in the house. Preston, Missouri line seems off. I like Missouri. We'll get to that one next. I like Missouri in the game. That's why I don't think it's off. Not fading Mike. I know. Colby, I get it. And I did the stats. And I just can't get there. I can't lay that many points with Tennessee. And if I'm wrong, I'll be 0-2 Mike White. And Kobe, I will never pick Mike White again this year if I am wrong. Hell is frozen over. I know. Yeah, Rob, I told you, St. John's plus 7.5. I don't buy Creighton. Creighton could have one of those games like Florida, make 19 3-pointers. That's fine. I get it. I believe in Pitino. I think Soriano's going to limit Kalkbrenner. I believe in this defense. St. John's can attack you off the dribble, which Creighton cannot defend. Creighton is king of the little people. They want to shoot threes from half court. That's fantastic. You want to beat up DePaul, you can beat up Paul all you want. I'm going with them here. Yeah, Vandy's getting healthy. I get it. I get Vandy's getting healthy. But I'm going with Mississippi at home with their defense. I think this is still very, very underrated. In the house, let's go, Redmond. Rob, I am with you. Let's get back to the games here. Make sure we cover them. Just talked about this one, taking Missouri over South Carolina. South Carolina has to have their pace. It's a bounce-back spot for Missouri. Is South Carolina really ready to win on the road? That's what I'm trying to figure out. South Carolina has looked really good, and they just lost to Alabama away. Now they go to Missouri. I get it, and they want to keep things slow, but they played away at Clemson, and they lost. They had a nice win away at East Carolina. I just don't believe in the slow pace here of South Carolina and slow down Missouri. I think Missouri is going to be able to score at home, get some shots up. You always know Dennis Gates' team's going to play defense as well. So it's too low. I'm going to take Missouri with those points. Old Dominion is a train wreck. God bless the head coach who had a heart attack, who's recovering, of course. But Old Dominion is really struggling. And we got a scare against Old Dominion. Jeff Jones hopefully recovering. Old Dominion has lost 5 games in a row. And Old Dominion, we took Georgia State for the subscribers here at FTN. Georgia State was losing 41-21 in the first half of this game, came back to cover the number and win by 7. I feel like Old Dominion gave you the big effort there in the first half against Georgia State. Still couldn't get to the window. Coastal Carolina is tough at home. Really don't like this Old Dominion team. They can't make free throws. They can't defend the 3. Coastal's good at home. I will take them. Not one of my top plays, guys. I'm going to go with BYU. UCF with the massive win over Kansas. I'm going to fade Johnny Dawkins. I don't like laying this many points on the road, but I think BYU bounces back, and I think it's a little bit of a regression from UCF over the big, big win over Kansas, which was a great win for Johnny Dawkins. Can't say anything there, but I'm not going there. App State looks good. Be careful, James Madison. A little shaky James Madison is what they do here. Turn the ball over. Get a little cocky, James Madison. App State beat Auburn this year. They lost a couple of games, but they righted the ship last game. I'm going to take their points here at James Madison. I like James Madison a lot, but like I said, I like James Madison with the underdog against big schools. This App State team is very good and very well coached. App State's going to keep this game close. I don't have a clue why Florida keeps getting respect. Am I missing something with Todd Golden? I know we love Todd Golden with all this, with the statistics. I love Todd Golden, but Todd Golden has not done anything to be favored by 7.5 points. They can't make free throws. They're not great defending the 3. They don't make a lot of threes. They lost to Kentucky. They were favored. They played Mississippi in a very short line away. Mississippi hung 103 points on them. What is the love of Florida? What has Florida done? They beat Pittsburgh this year. They look great against Florida State in a rivalry game. They lost to Virginia on a neutral, which looks terrible. They barely escaped Michigan, who's not good in 2 overtimes. What did they do? East Carolina, semi-home, they won by 5. They didn't cover. Why is Florida favored by so many points? You're going to tell me Arkansas can't score? I get it, but this is crazy. 7.5 points is just nuts. Say it. Say it. Scott Cross covers. Say it. Scott Cross covers. 3rd best team against the spread, Detroit Trojans here. I will tell you this. I don't think Andre Curbelo is playing. Andre Curbelo, the Illinois transfer, went to St. John's, really talented player who's been bounced around a little bit. He's now at Southern Mississippi. He played, and they won 3 games in a row, and they've looked really good, Southern Mississippi. However, he went out of the last game, which people said was a sickness, and then they said it was a back injury. I tried to find out today if he's playing. If Andre Curbelo is playing, I'm going to stay away from this game. But they're going away to Troy, and I don't think Curbelo's playing because in the win over Louisiana Monroe, he only played 2 minutes, and then he left the game. So, and that was Thursday. So assuming there's no Corbello, this is very much a play. Troy Trojans at home, but they did beat James Madison at home by 10. They did beat Georgia State with Corbello. I just don't think Corbello is going to play today, and I think this number is going to balloon when you get that confirmation to 5.5 or so. Hate Oklahoma State. Not a fan of them at all. Iowa State at home. Hilton Magic, their defense. They're playing so well. They're coming off the massive win there against Houston. TJ Otzelberger, just fantastic. They are 1-1. They can't stumble here because they lost to Oklahoma away. You're going to get a big-time effort. Don't trust Oklahoma State. Have never liked Mike Boynton as a coach. Not making free throws. I get it. They did cover against Baylor, but that game went to overtime. They were winning. Just not an Oklahoma State guy. I'm not, and I like Iowa State at home. Temple stinks. North Texas is going to pound them today. We got Temple a couple of weeks ago, like a week ago, 2 games ago. We got a big win on them. We are not staying with them. Temple looks catastrophic. They're terrible in offense. North Texas defense at home. Get out of here. This is a Temple team that went to South Florida and lost big. They lost to VCU by 9 points, almost 10. North Texas is rolling. They're 2-0. Even though they look Grant McCaslin and Russ Hodges done a nice job. North Texas big. Temple stinks. Not getting them in this game. I'll take Washington State +9 on the road against Arizona. Again, this goes back to what you're seeing. You're going to win on the road here. College basketball, winning on the road by double digits, not happening. Colorado got a big on the road against Cal. Cal comes all the way back and wins. I think Washington State is good. I think they're very well coached. Arizona winning by double digits. I'm going to be fading Arizona moving forward with these big numbers because if you're going to rely most of your offense on Caleb Love's outside shooting, you're going to be in trouble here like Washington State. Evansville +3.5 against Missouri State. Again, this is a road play here. Missouri State really disappointed me in their last game. Missouri State in their last game in the Missouri Valley really struggled. They've lost 3 games in a row. They lost to Northern Iowa at home. That game should not have happened. Northern Iowa was down this year, even with Ben Jacobson as coach. They lost to Bradley Wade by 26, pounded. They lost at home to Murray State by 24. Missouri State lost at home to Murray State by 24. Now here comes Evansville. Evansville, good on the defensive boards, decent metrics, not great. They've lost 4 games in a row. So this is a game of 2 teams that really have to have it. In those situations, I like to side with the home team, and I think I'm getting 3.5 points, which is fine. We got any questions here? Make sure to get them in the chat. We are almost done, and I'm ready to roll. Make sure you get them up there. Here, I got one coming in right now. Yep, here we go. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Longwood today, like I said, I think it's Laurent. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. I don't like Longwood today. I like UNC Ash. It's a play on UNC Ash being super, super hot here. That's what I got. Scott Cross covers Colby. You know he does. That's the deal. Couple others. Houston is tremendous, but we're not at the point where we're laying that many points with Houston on the road. Houston is tremendous, guys, but who have they really beaten? Houston. Yes, their metrics are, if you look at their metrics in KenPom, number 1 in adjusted defensive efficiency, number 1 in effective field goal percentage allowed, number 1 in turnovers, number 1 in defending inside the arc, but I also see 66%. They played Louisiana Monroe, Stetson, Townsend. They did beat Utah, which is good. Dayton is okay. Montana's they haven't played a great schedule, Houston. So I like TCU here. This is a rivalry game. This is a Big 12 game. Jamie Dixon team that is also good at forcing turnovers, very aggressive. Played away at Kansas, lost by 2. Jamie Dixon squad, you can make an argument TCU could have won at Kansas, only lost by 2, and beat Oklahoma at home by 9. So you're going to give me points with them. This number was 6.5. It's dropped now to 4. I'm going to take them there as well, which is great. And I think that's pretty much it. We are very, very close here. One more game. Santa Clara +5.5 against St. Mary's. St. Mary's plays at a slow pace. They're also very, very weak inside. Aiden Mahaney is really solid, but again, they're a little bit of Creighton where they pass the ball around and they want to look for opportunities. They don't force the pace. They also struggle to control dribble penetration, with Santa Clara coming off their first win over Gonzaga in basically 30 years since last time. It's 2011. So 13 years last time they beat Gonzaga. Santa Clara is rolling. Herb Seddick doing a great job. 5.5, of course, that number on the road that we always look for. I like UNCG against Chattanooga. You know my deal with Chattanooga. They have the most percentage of points generated from 3-point range. UNCG is well coached. UNCG is not going to fall for that. Chattanooga, there's always a risk of a blowout because they make so many 3-pointers. I just don't think they do it against a well-coached team. I think New Hampshire's turned a corner here. They had a big win over Maine for us 2 nights ago. Bryant had the bump there with a coaching change. Phil Martelli Jr. did a nice job, but New Hampshire is playing very well. They're home, -2. Big win at Maine. Super fast New Hampshire up and down the court. I like them here at home as well. I'm taking Mississippi State against Alabama. I think Alabama is very much a Creighton team. Yes, they're sexy. Yes, they hit threes. Yes, they score a lot. But I think when you really dig down, I don't think they have what it takes to make a Final Four this year. And Mississippi State with Tulu Smith back and Chris Jan's coaching is very, very dangerous. Mississippi State at home, I am taking those points as well. The Stan Johnson fade. How would we have a show without the Stan Johnson fade? I just think they're struggling. They still don't have Justice Hill, who's one of their best three-point shooters. Pacific getting 15.5 is way too many points. Get this one now because it's dropping to 14 very quickly. And I think that is it. Any questions, folks, put it in there. Ash as well, you've been right about them. I get it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the comment. Guys, hit like, hit subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy, whatever you want to do here. We'll be back next week. 3 shows. We give it to you 3 shows, and the Saturday show at 10:30 is the one that we want. And listen, let me know. Send me a message on X at Randle Rant, or if you're a sub, go in there. Let me know some more guests that we're going to have on the show because I'm trying to get them on for us here as quickly as possible. Thank you as always. I'm grabbing coffee. I'm going to have some more breakfast. Mike Randle, Chief Content Officer, FTN. Let's get to the window. Enjoy those NFL games today, including Peacock, the one tonight. Tell a friend, $5. I think it's worth it, folks. Get those NFL games, get those college basketball games in. Make sure you go to better, and let's get to the window.